Morning everyone, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. It is Friday, the 21st of February 2020, video number 93. Cross stitch, goodies, meetups. This past week has been fantastic. And so I had to do a video today and tell you all about it. Mark went to work today, so I don't have to worry about him walking into the house. I got my granddaughters off to school this morning, so I'm recording early on a Friday, and so much to share, so much to share. I'm going to start off by telling you that I won a giveaway. I won a giveaway. Oh my gosh. I don't enter giveaways very often, but if it's fabric, sometimes I will, because, you know, who doesn't want fabric? Yeah. And surprised the heck out of me when Mel of Mel's Travel and Stitching called out my name. So she sent me this piece of fabric, and I'm not going to show it to you yet because you know me, there's a story. She sent me this piece of fabric. It is a 32 count fabric by Stephanie. It's called Winter Whispers. And it's a light, it's not white, it's mottled, it's got some golden tones to it. Winter Whispers. It's a long piece of fabric, about 9 inches wide. Mel does a lot of the rows, the seasonal rows, autumn row, winter row, Halloween row. She does a lot of stitching like that. This was the other half of a piece of fabric that she used. So it arrived, and I got this beautiful, beautiful card from her, which will be perfect for journaling. I get this fabric from her. I have it sitting on the kitchen table for a couple of days, because whenever I get anything, that's where it gets piled up until I have a chance to really sort through and look at things. And I'm looking at this fabric, and like I said, it's a light color, lighter than I usually stitch on. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what could I put on here? And then it dawned on me, I had just gotten those patterns from the Witchy Stitcher. And this one is stitched on a light colored fabric. And I thought, ooh. So I ran and got my phone, and I did the cross stitch calculator, and I figured out that yes, that piece of fabric would be wide enough to stitch this piece. Sometimes I start upper left-hand corner if I'm doing full coverage. Sometimes I start in the center. But do I actually measure to the center of the fabric? Why, no. No, I don't. Tell me you've never done that. Anyway, so the center of the fabric was supposed to be right about the bottom of the cat's chin. So I eyeballed it on the fabric and I started stitching it. And as I was stitching it, and as I was stitching the words down here, I realized I wasn't going to have enough room to put this bottom motif in. So I was thinking about it, and I was figuring out how I would like to finish this piece, and I thought, maybe I could make a drum out of it. Pattern size is 104 by 103, so it's pretty square. That wouldn't necessarily be good for making it into a drum. What to do? How do I adapt this pattern to make it easier to make a drum? So you see this bottom motif here? I cut it out of the pattern, and I'm going to show you the pattern, so, you know, freak out everybody. But I cut out bottom motif, and I split it in half, and I added it onto either side of the cat's head so that when I make it a drum, this edge should match up to that edge. So, this is what I'm stitching, what I'm doing. This is Winter Whisper, 32 count, fabric by Stephanie. Like I said, I took that motif and I split it, and I've got one half on this side, the other half on that side, which will make it more of a rectangular shape. And if I did it right, it should match up. So the trick that I use when I'm stitching on linen, because I stitch on everything. I stitch on Aida, I stitch on even weave, I stitch on linen, because it's all good and it's all fun, and it just depends on what I'm stitching. But especially when I am stitching on linen, if I want to make sure that a motif over here is going to line up correctly with this motif over here, so that when I make it into a drum, this edge will match up to this edge. Because she didn't chart it this way, I changed it. I used the graph lines to line up the motif on the pattern. To line up the motifs on the fabric, here at the side of the fluff on the cat's face, I took my orange floss and I did a running stitch until I got to where this motif would start. And then when I was ready to start stitching this motif, I could just pull that running stitch out, use the rubber end of my seam ripper to fluff the linen back up, and you can't see where that running stitch was at. I still haven't tested it to see whether it's going to line up in the back. You'll have to wait for the next video for that. But this is Beastly Halloween by the Witchy Stitcher on the fabric that I won from Mel's Travel and Stitching. Go check her out. She's got about a dozen videos or so, and she's very nice, and she's very easy to listen to. And I remember a while back she had this story about a bear in the backyard. So yeah, if you haven't seen her, please go check her out. Okay, so Monday I went on a road trip. One of the ladies that comes up to Acorns and Threads first Thursday, her name is Becca. She is Sambree Stitchers on YouTube and Instagram. She started a group up where she lives in Silverdale, Washington, called the Kitsap Stitchers. Sorry, I have to shuffle things over here. Limited space, and you should see stuff stacked around me. I'm penned in. She started this group, the Kitsap Stitchers, up in Silverdale, Washington, and she invited me to come up this past Monday, the 17th. I gave her a tentative yes, depending on the weather, because, you know, it is winter, and while we've been having unbelievably nice warm weather here in the Pacific Northwest, it could also change and become cold and rainy and icy, and it's the ice that gets to me. I talked with Mark about it, because one-way trip up to Silverdale, Washington from Silverton, Oregon is 3.5 hours. And I told him that, you know, they do a meetup, or they meet up for lunch at 2, and then after lunch they go over to Michael's and they stitch from about 5 to 8. Mark offered to drive me up. He's not working right now, except for today. He's not working. He offered to drive me up. He had a doctor's appointment in the morning, so we left the house about 11:30 and drove up there. Lunch is supposed to start about 2. I figured we would be there about 3. We were using Google Maps as we went up, and it told us that there was a crash ahead on I-5. So it suggested an alternate route for us, and we took that alternate route and went up Washington 3, I think, which was really a pretty drive. We ended up driving along the Puget Sound for a while. It did add a little bit of time to our drive, so we actually got up there to the restaurant about 3:30, 3:40. And the ladies were nice. They waited for us. Mark and I ate lunch, and then we headed over to Michael's to go stitching. The original plan was that Mark was going to watch a movie while we were stitching. The only movie that he wanted to see started at 7 p.m. So he sat out in our car in the parking lot of Michael's, playing on Facebook and whatever it is that he does, while I got to sit inside and stitch with the ladies. He does stuff like this for me all the time. Totally blows me away. He could have been inside with us, but he didn't want to. He just sat out in the car and did his thing and let me visit with the ladies, and then drove me home. Now, the ladies at the meetup, fantastic group of ladies. I have met some of them before. I have my names here. So, the ladies that I have met before who have come down to First Thursday was obviously Becca, who is Sambry Stitches. She does the reverse drive. She drives from Silverdale to Portland, about a 3.5-hour drive. She usually has company with her. Cece, who is Geeky Girls Knits and Cross Stitch, or Knits and Crafts. She has come down a couple of times. Jennifer has been with her the last 2 times that she comes down. She is on Instagram at traveling_stitches. Melissa has come down with her a couple of times. She's also on Instagram at MelissaJ8384. Those are the ones that I've met before. The ladies that I got to meet for the first time there was Joanne. I don't know if she has an Instagram. I haven't figured that one out yet. Laurel, who is at Autumn's Mum PNW on Instagram. Sam, who is Becca's daughter. She's half of Sambry. Pauline. Jessica, who is at JEZ_high_low. And Amy, who is at globetrotting_stitcher. Those are the Kitsap ladies. The 2 other ladies that were there for this meetup that Becca had invited, you know, you love. Erin of 2 Martini Stitcher and Daleen of So Grateful. What a fantastic group of ladies. I had so much fun sitting there stitching with them, and the Kitsap stitchers knew, and Erin and Daleen are apparently prepared for everything because they brought stuff to exchange. I didn't know. So I didn't bring anything, but I got goodies. I got swag, man. I got swag. Becca went back and revived Diane, It Is Kismet, and Michelle Bendy's It's You I Like, and she altered the pattern. Instead of doing it all across on one line, she has made it onto 2 lines, and she is asking people what their favorite color is, and she stitched this up. It's You I Like in my favorite color, 796 DMC, and then put it on this little star, and then personalized it on the back. Cute. So cute. Jennifer quilted these hearts. She had a stack of them and let us go through and pick out which ones we want. This is beautiful. This kind of makes me think of a watermelon here in the center of it, and of course it has blue, so it's the one that I chose. Absolutely gorgeous. Pauline had this little bag, nice little tag. There was 2 chocolates in it. Mark and I ate them on the way home. She had a twist tie on this baggie. It took me a bit to figure out how to untwist the twist tie. We ate the chocolates on the way home. They were yummy. And there was also some variegated DMC floss in the bag. Cece gave everybody these cute little possum valentines. P-A-W-S-O-M-E, possum, not as in the animal possums, Valentine cards. And then this little bundle that has a highlighter and a pen and some pink floss. Aaron, who was more prepared than me, gave us a bag that had a lot of candy in it. That's all gone. And then this cute little thread drop. Thread fob? Thread drop? I don't know what to call these things. Mine has a bumblebee on it. And then Daleen brought one. It has a lovely little Victorian lady on it and a pearl button. So I walked away with all the swag and I didn't take anything. Obviously, I need to up my game, and if I get invited somewhere again, I need to be prepared. It was a fantastic evening. Mark and I left a little bit early because my husband was sitting out in the car. We drove home and we were talking about it because there is a retreat that I would like to go to that is within driving distance. I'm not going to tell you who's doing the retreat or where or when it is because the details haven't been given out yet. But it is within driving distance, but it would be a day of driving one way and a day of driving one way back. So on our drive home, Mark goes, why don't you check into finding out what a flight would cost? And I did, and the flight was very reasonable, or will be very reasonable. So when that time comes around and I get to go to that retreat, if I go to that retreat, I'm hoping to go to that retreat, I'll be flying instead of driving. Because for some reason, Mark didn't offer to volunteer to drive me there and stay out in the car for 3 days. He is such a good man. He is such a good man. Okay, I'm going to show this again because at the meetup, Daleen said, do you remember the Halloween cats that looked an awful lot like this cat and how they had a white ruffle around their neck? She suggested that if I'm going to make this into a drum, that I should put a white ruffle on it. And I know that Vanna does a tutorial on ruching. Ruching? So my question for you is, do I put a small ruffle across the top, or do I do a larger ruffle across the bottom? I'm thinking small ruffle across the top, but I would like ideas. And I will definitely be watching Vanna's tutorial before I even attempt that. The other thing I wanted to show you, and I don't know how you're going to be able to see this or not, Jennifer was sitting next to me and she was stitching something using all these beautiful Gloriana silks. I have some Gloriana silks upstairs. I've never used them. And I was looking at one of the skeins of floss that she had there, beautiful greens and blues and just pretty. So she pulled off a length of silk and gave it to me. And what I did, the word happy here is highlighted with the blue from the nose, and there's 2 shades of blue in the nose. There's a lighter blue up on the top, and there's supposed to be the darker shade of blue on the bottom to highlight them. I took that skein of floss, which is fairly dark, and I used it for the bottom parts of the highlight around the word happy. So that way, when this is done, this will remind me of my meetup with the Kitsap ladies. Okay, I received some goodies in the mail. When I did my last video, I forgot to share this one. I am in the Facebook group What Whip, which was created by Melanie Watkins with the sole idea of getting everybody to put at least 20 stitches in their whips, have 4 finishes by the end of the year, 1 fully finished by the end of the year. My Winterberry Snowman was one of my What Whips. It's finished. It's fully finished. It's done. My group consists of 4 ladies. We are Team 9, or as I refer to us, Team 9 3/4. My group is Amy, who is Gable Stitcher on YouTube, Deanna, who is Darling and Whimsey Designs. She used to be Tuxie Twin Stitches on YouTube. She doesn't do videos anymore. And Ellen, who does not do any YouTube. She has an Instagram name, but I don't think she does much on Instagram. We've exchanged a couple of little gifts, and Ellen sent out this thing, which I actually think is really, really cool. This is a floss bag. It has this little needle case here. It has a little tag here. See those 2 buttons there? Those are snaps that hold your floss. So when you have a long ring of floss, instead of just throwing it in your bag where it's going to get all twisted and sorted, or knotted, not sorted, you put it in here, you close the snaps, try to close the snaps, inside the ring, and then your floss is hanging there and they don't get tangled. This is cute. And she sells them. I'll post it down below. Deanna sent out a package that I received the other day. She lives up in Newfoundland, Canada, so I've got some really cute Canadian stamps there. And she sent one of her patterns. Like I said, she is a designer. She is Darling and Whimsey Designs. So she sent along this one, which is one of her newer patterns, I Carry Your Heart. This is cute. This is really, really simple. The directions she had on the back of it, it's 75 by 32 stitches, and she said, use whatever color floss you want. So I did. But we'll get to that. She sent some chenille that she dyed. She sent another little freebie pattern. This is the Snowflower Diaries Winter Witch. And then, because I'm doing the journaling, she sent me these Prism Halloween stickers. And as you can see, I've already used a couple of them because they're pretty. I like the pretties. So, thank you, ladies. I wanted to stitch this piece. I was planning on doing this video today. I was planning on showing you all the stuff that I've shown so far. Wednesday, when I went to work, I took the Halloween piece to work with me and left it there. So I decided to drive back to the store that I work at yesterday and got stuck in traffic, and it took like 2 hours to get to my store, which usually takes 45 minutes. And I figured since it was taking that long for me to get up there, and I heard that there was traffic issues on I-5 too, which is how I would have come home, I went over to Acorns and Threads, which is only 15 minutes from my store. And I bought stuff because I figured I have this new pattern, and I knew what floss I wanted to use. At Christmas, my friend Melanie Smith, Yarns and Threads, she sent this beautiful, beautiful red silk floss that she had dyed herself. I carry you in my heart, red silk floss. I thought, what color could I use for the background? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, you know, maybe a gray would look really good, because gray and red looks lovely together. And I got to Acorns and Threads, and I found this. This is a 28 count cashel linen. It is called Platinum Metallic. Trying to get it in there so that you can see the sparkly. Little pattern, huge piece of fabric. Because it's pretty. So I stitched her piece last night. New start and a finish. I carry my heart done on 28 count cashel linen, platinum metallic, and the red silk that my friend Melanie gave me. This took it took less than 5 hours to stitch. I recorded when I posted the picture to the group to let them know I was starting it, and then I posted it when it was finished, but we had dinner in between, so maybe three and a half hours to stitch this lovely thing, and I will make it into a pillow. And of course, I also cut off a huge piece of fabric. So what I thought I would do is a giveaway. I love this pattern. I think it's really cute. You know, I'm not a Valentine's person. This doesn't have to be Valentine-y. Her directions are you could use it in any color you want. Ellen did hers in a green color that matched the chenille that Deanna sent to her. Anyway, I thought that I would offer up the other half of this 28 count cashel platinum metallic fabric, because it's plenty big enough to stitch that, and a copy of this pattern. So the way I'm going to do this giveaway is that whoever is drawn for the winner, when you send me your address, I will contact Deanna, and she can either send you a hard copy like this or a PDF copy if that's your choice. I will pay for it, and I will send you the other half of this piece of fabric. I carry your heart. Use the word heart in a sentence and you will be entered. Don't say giveaway. Please be 18. Be a subscriber, because I'm checking now, because I feel like it, because I can. Yeah. What else did I buy at Acorns and Threads? I've shown this before, and nobody does what I tell them to, and I don't get it. Beth Twist. You all know Beth Twist, Heartstring Sampley. She lives here in Oregon. She shops at Acorns and Threads. You all know Acorns and Threads because I talk about it all the time. Beth designed this pattern exclusively for the shop. The only way you can get this pattern is to go into Acorns and Threads and ask them for it. You have to ask them for it, and they will give it to you. Beth includes an alphabet so that you can personalize it, like I did down here at StitchyWitch42. And then you can make something with it. I've only seen 2 versions of this stitched up. The one that Beth Twist stitched up for the shop, and mine that I'm showing you right now. But you know, because I made this into a bag, and I take this bag with me to Acorns to put my purchases in, Janine does a punch card system. For every dollar you spent, you get an equal number of punches on this card, and when the card is full, you get $15 off your purchase. And because I take this bag in, I get extra punches every time I make a purchase. Go into Acorns and Threads. I'm sure if you called Janine and asked her to send you the pattern, she might, because she's, you know, pretty cool that way. Make a bag, get an extra punch. All right. So I bought another pattern, and you guys are all going to go, this is not you, Audrey. And you are absolutely right. It is not me. It is Stacy Nash, the spotted pin keep. But I'm doing an exchange, and this is perfect for the exchange. So I bought a piece of 28 count, picture this plus Cyprium. Oh my God, look at this. This is just yum. And it will be perfect for that. Okay. So, I have shown you that piece, and I've shown you that piece. All right. The other piece that I have been working on. Where'd my board go? Oh. Natural Blonde. Hold on a moment. I did it again. I didn't hit pause. I hit stop. The other piece that I'm working on is Baltimore. This is a compilation between Ink Circles and Cherrywood Designs, and this is where I'm at. The last time I had finished this square, and I came down and I started doing some of the tombstones down here, which is where the date goes. So I did the 2/0 of 2020. Yeah, the 2/0, and then just because I didn't want to curse myself, I didn't finish the date. I came over and I started working on these down here. And the tombstones will go all the way around and say Happy Halloween with the year on the bottom. So, yeah. However that works. Happy Halloween 2020. So that is where I'm at on Baltimore. And that is all of my stitching that I have to share with you. I received a package that totally blew me away. I have been doing FlossTube videos for 2.5 years approximately, and I have said this before, and I will say this again. Absolutely no one has to send me anything. But over that course of time, people have asked for my address, and I've always given it out when they do. because I love receiving postcards and I love receiving cards, and sometimes there are little goodies stuck in with the postcard or the cards, and I have received little wooden cutouts that can be used to embellish a piece, or I have received floss like I got from Melanie, or I've received patterns. Michelle, Maine Moose Mom, sent me the Cour y Batacour pattern that I haven't been stitching on it recently, but excuse me, she sent me that pattern. So when somebody asks for my address, I figure, they're going to send a card or they're going to send something small. Tuesday, I'm sitting here stitching, and in the window right over there, I watch Mark walk across the porch, and he's carrying this huge box. And I'm thinking to myself, he must have gotten something for the Jeep, because he's working on his dad's Jeep, and it's amazing what he is doing. Amazing what he is doing. He walks into the house with this box and he says, "This is for you." And he sets it down on his chair over there. The box is big enough that it fills the seat of his chair. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't ordered anything, and what is this box? So I walk over there, and there's a handwritten address to me and a handwritten return address. And the woman's name is Sherry, and I'm not going to mention the last name. There's lots of Sherrys out in the world, but Sherry, she knows who she is. She had contacted me and said that she had something she would like to send to me. She didn't say it was going to show up in this big box. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what on earth could she have sent to me? So Mark hands me his knife. I cut open the top of the box. This box is full of styrofoam packing pellets. So Mark goes and gets a garbage bag so that we won't spill them all over the floor. But because he didn't open the garbage bag completely, we spilled them all over the floor. Because, yeah, that's the way you go. Inside the pellets, I see the top of another box, and it says, there's a note on it that says, boxes in boxes. So I pulled out this box, and you have to look up to see this. And inside this box is this box. Inside this box is this box. By this time, my eyes were stinging. When I opened up this box, and there's this box, tears were running down my face. Eyes are stinging now. This is gorgeous, but this wasn't all of it. In the pellets, the packing pellets, there was something rolled up into a tube. And there was a note attached to that they were candle wraps. They're not candle wraps. There's luminaries. They are luminaries. And there was 7 of them. 3 different designs. There is this design. this design. And this design. There was tears running down my face. Oh my God, Sherry. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you. Doesn't convey enough. You went above and beyond, and all of this is so totally me. So totally me. And I love all of it. I took the other one of this one down to our local frame shop here in Silverton yesterday. A while back, my daughter had given me a $25 gift certificate to use there. And so I am getting the other one of this framed, and it will go upstairs in my crafting room when I get my crafting room done. The rest of them I will use. They're luminaries. They have a tab on one side and slots on the other. And you put them together, and then you can put a candle in there and it will glow from inside. You better believe I will be using these this fall. They will be pretty. They are pretty. All of this. You went way, way above and beyond, and I am touched and overwhelmed and humbled, and thank you. But again, nobody has to send me anything. To the people who have in the past, I hope that when I've said thank you, I hope that when I've said thank you, that you understand how much you mean to me. I wasn't gonna cry. Oh God. Thank you so much. Anyway, I need to go find a tissue. Live long and stitch on, my friends. So long.